Hey, what's up guys? It's your man for you. I'm again back with a new video for V Rising. In the past couple days I got a lot of questions about my build, which I use for PvE. How I easily clear big packs of mobs and also deal with every boss in the endgame. So in this video, I'm gonna do exactly that. Share pretty much everything you need to have a fantastic build to thrive in the endgame PvE for V Rising. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Alright, so here we are once again in my vampire castle. I did pretty much everything you can do in the endgame for V Rising with a new Secrets of Gloomrot update. Killed all the bosses, got my hands on a couple shards as well, but it's very important to know that this build can also be used in the early or mid game with some small modifications. So let's first check out my loadout. So of course we all have full blood moon in the endgame, while for necklace I like to go with the amulet of the Crimson Commander, as this one, like all the others, gives you plus 28 spell power, reduced blood drain rate, but also bonus physical power as well as weapon skill life leech. So you can basically heal yourself with weapon abilities. And the nice thing is, if we combine this with the blood, which we're going to talk about in a second, you'll be able to do this quite frequently. Pretty much keep yourself healed up to 100%, deal a lot of damage while you're at it. The weapon which I like to use are the axes. The reason why is simply because they have a lot of base damage, but I think they also have probably the best abilities or weapon skills in the game. Its first ability is Frenzy, and what I really like about it is that you can basically use this one as gap closer, but also as disengage to quickly escape from a sticky situation. Say if your dash is on cooldown, you can use this one to dash away from the hazards, let's say, while the second ability, Axe Strike, can be used to deal a lot of AoE damage, slow all the enemies in the area, quickly harvest resources as well. And the point where the two axes come together, this is also where you can stun your enemies. So if you place this one well, you can slow everything in between and stun even multiple enemies at the very end of it. I don't think I have to explain these abilities in detail, but what I really like about them is that they both have very high base physical damage. And the nice thing is, if you hit something with Frenzy, you even increase your attack speed. So this is the normal attack speed. If I hit something, look at how fast I can harvest resources or, of course, take care of my enemies. While Axe Strike slows for 1.5 seconds and the stun will last for a full second as well. And the sun is rising, so let's get back inside. By now, you've already seen which abilities I have, so let's move on to the spells. The first ability which we use is Sanguine Coil, unlocked pretty late game, but after going over the spells, I'm gonna show you some alternatives which are gonna work very well from the early game basically. But this one has 3 charges by default. It can even be upgraded to 4 with the right jewel. The Sanguine Coil has a pretty long range, and if you practice a little bit with it, it's gonna be pretty easy to use this one on allies to even heal yourself. So if you hit enemies with it, you will leech some of their HP. While if you hit allies, you can heal them for a lot of health basically and do the same thing to yourself. My jewel tier 3 right here, Crimson Embrace, has an increased maximum charge by 1, so I can have up to 4 charges. With a little bit of cooldown reduction, you will be able to spam these bad boys 24/7 basically to constantly heal up the damage on you, while it also has increased damage by 10% and increased ally healing by 19%. If we hold Alt, you can see that this is not the best roll, but I think the extra charge works very well for PvE, especially if you're playing co-op, but I'm primarily using this one for solo encounters. The second ability which I use is the Phantom Aegis. What I really like about it is that you can not only shield yourself with it, but also allies. So once again, this build can be used for solo, but also co-op. And what's really awesome about this is that if you shield yourself, start using your Sanguine Coil or other abilities, you will basically increase your spell power with this jewel. So you will deal even more damage. Heal yourself up even more as well, while you can increase the duration of it by up to 35%. This is a pretty good roll, and it even removes all negative effects. So say if I get slowed, throw a shield on myself, it will remove that slow, while you can also use this one on allies and even get them out of a stun, which I think is pretty powerful, while my ultimate ability is the Volatile Arachnid. I think this is an amazing ability to use against bosses, to quickly nuke them down. It allows you to summon different spiders, and they will basically run towards any enemy they come across. And yeah, if the explosion hits one of your enemies, they also apply the Condemned, which is a debuff which increases all the damage they take by another 15%. So they already deal a lot of damage on their own. While if you then also decide to nuke down the boss, you're gonna chip away a lot of HP in no time. Most of the ultimates in this game are pretty good for PvP, while they don't really deal a lot of damage to big packs of mobs or are interesting versus bosses. There is one more, which I can think of can work very well in this build. If you've already taken down Solaris the Immaculate, the Summon Fallen Angel, as this one allows you to summon in an angel, and the awesome thing is, in combination with the other abilities which you have in this build, you can basically shield this one and also use your Sanguine Coil to have a guardian for you, which basically takes aggro away. But trust me, this build already provides you with all the survivability tools you need. Shields, heals, so I think Volatile Arachnid is gonna be ideal in most situations. Now, for the blood which we use. I absolutely love Brood Blood in this game, as well as Scholar, while Warrior is just so nice in combination, once again, with pretty much all the tools we use for this kit. It already increases our physical power by 20% on 100% blood. 15% reduced cooldown on weapon skills, so you will be able to use those slows, those stuns, and of course also the engage, disengage a lot more frequently. While at level 3, you also reduce the damage taken, and 25% increased damage when striking enemies at full HP. Even more interesting, on level 4, we have a 15% chance to parry an attack, reduce incoming damage by 50%, and parrying attack will also increase your own damage by 20%. So this is where the build becomes super powerful. Be sure to get your hands on some high quality blood. I already made a guide for you guys in the top right of the screen, but this is probably one of the best perks of all the blood types in the game, as you'll become a lot tankier with it. You can deal more damage with it if you, of course, get damaged. And in this clip right here, where I'm fighting the behemoth for his shard, you can see that it happens quite frequently. He hits like a truck, while if you parry those attacks, it's no problemo. While of course, if you are on level 5 with your blood, you will also boost all the above effects by 30%. So the increased physical power, the reduced cooldown on the weapon skills, everything gets taken down dramatically. X-Strike normally has 8 seconds cooldown, while if we use it, it only takes 6 to recharge it. Same counts for the Frenzy, as it also has an 8 seconds base cooldown. So with the high percentage Warrior Blood, we have very low cooldown on our weapon abilities. And yeah, combine that with the Amulet of the Crimson Commander, you will deal even more damage and also have weapon skill Life Leech. So aside from all the Sanguine Coil heals, which we can do, the shields, of course, we can also deal damage with our abilities, and they will also heal us. So yeah, you become an ultimate juggernaut on the battlefield. A lot of damage, a lot of defense basically, but if you want to use this build low level, of course, we're gonna have to make some slight alterations to it, as Sanguine Coil comes from the Silverlight Hills. So on lower level, I would recommend the Chaos Volley as alternative, which you can unlock after you've taken down Lydia the Chaos Archer. She's level 30, can be taken down pretty easily. This is the spell you unlock from her. While for the Phantom Aegis, you just have to take down Grayson the Armorer, a level 27 V-Blood boss, also very easy to take down. The Veil of Chaos is also pretty easy to unlock. For that one, you have to take out Clive the Firestarter. He can basically be found in the very southwestern part of the map at the Bandit Sulfur Quarry. I absolutely love Veil of Chaos, because you can basically use this ability twice. The jewel which I currently have equipped on it is the Pandemonious Vortex. I don't really think it's a good one, while an important bonus for it would be the increased loot duration. So you basically have more time to think about where you want to recast it to make decision making a little bit more forgiving. Say if a boss charges towards you, for example the Behemoth, you can charge back and forth and you have plenty of time to reconsider your positioning. But yeah, if we combine Frenzy and the Veil of Chaos, I mean, you can already close gaps and travel long distances in a very short time. So both PvE and PvP, this can be nice for some additional maneuverability. I think that's all the explanation you need. Now let's move on to a little bit of gameplay to show you how it works in action. I first start off with the Axe Strike, as then it's going to be a lot easier to hit my target if they are not really aware of my surroundings. So first I can land a stun and also slow a couple of enemies, maybe even already take down some trash mobs. Then I'm going to snipe a couple more with my Sanguine Coil, so I can clear a lot of trash in very short notice. If that wasn't enough, the enemies will probably reach you, so then you can throw the shield on yourself, use your frenzy ability to start dealing a lot of damage with your melee attacks. And of course, before you take damage, you can also use your Veil of Chaos a couple times to travel back and forth on the battlefield. And yeah, with some high quality warrior blood, you can use those weapon skills all the time to keep your enemies at bay with the Axe Strike, slow them down, even stun them, while this also heals you if you hit your enemies. The more enemies you hit, the more you will heal, while you can also finish them up with Sanguine Coil, also healing you up. So a lot of survivability, a lot of weapon damage is pretty interesting for boss fights, as you can constantly heal yourself if you're in trouble, and if you made some poor decisions during combat, quickly want to escape from your enemies, you have the frenzy ability, 2 charges of the Veil of Chaos, so then you can start using your Axe Strike to hit your enemies from afar, slow them down, heal yourself up, same with the Sanguine Coil. So a lot of damage, a lot of survivability, especially I think in boss fights. This is very important, as once you drop to a low amount of HP, you will become a little bit stressed, like, oh bro, I'm already at 50% HP, it's gonna be difficult to heal this up again, while with this build, it's pretty difficult to lose HP. So there you have it, everything you need to know for a solid PvE build, which will work for both the early, mid, and especially late game, as of course then you will have access to all the tools for this kit. If you found this video helpful, be sure to leave a like, and of course share your thoughts about it in the comments down below. If there are some things, improvements for example, you think about, always very welcome to leave those in the comments as well. Right now though, it is 4 AM out. I want to wish you an awesome day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.